Hi, my name is Suzanne Natbony, and I'm a California attorney, and we're here to talk to you about influencer law, and I'm here with Eugene.
Hi, my name is Eugene Lee. I am the co-founder and CEO of Channel Meter. Channel Meter is a software platform where we help media companies and brands work with creators and influencers.
We were having a discussion about influencer law and what are the ramifications of not having an agreement in
Mm.
place when you're a brand like the business or when you're the influencer. And as an attorney, I get approached by both the influencer and the brand to put together a contract to help the brand grow with the influencer, and the influencer can get paid. And so there are a lot of things that can go wrong in that deal. And so I try to help my clients avoid that from happening. And Eugene has had a lot of experience in the industry to see some of these things go south. So why don't you talk about some of those experiences, and then I'll talk about some things that we can do to prevent that.
Yeah, I mean, just recently there was an influencer who's being sued by the PR agency of Snapchat. This Instagram influencer, which is kind of funny. I think his channel was Sabat. I don't remember what it is. You can Google it. He was paid $65,000 or $75,000 to do 3 stories. He only did one and kind of ghosted them. He was paid 75% up front, which was the first mistake. And I don't think there was any clear expectations of what he was supposed to do legally. So that's just one example, a recent example, but that's one of hundreds of other examples that we've heard. Oftentimes, from both the creator and the brands, we see these deals that go sour because the expectations were not put up front. And I love the conversation that we're having today because it's about kind of how to avoid this and using a legal agreement as a construct to be able to make sure both parties get what they want. Talking about how long the post should be, the price of the post, should the post go up. These are all very, very necessary items that should go in an agreement to avoid a lot of these soured relationships.
Exactly. So, as an attorney, I always think, okay, what kind of contract have I worked on before that's similar to this influence agreement? And it actually starts with the sponsorship agreement
Mm.
because athletes are getting sponsored by brands and they're supposed to promote the product. But the difference is with influencers is that they have a following. They want their followers to stay following them, and they also care about authenticity. They want to make sure the product or the service actually is going to make their followers happy. And so with an athlete, they're mostly concerned about the performance and the athletics. And yeah, they want to get paid for their sponsorship agreements. I think Michael Jordan actually makes more from sponsorship agreements than he ever
Mm-hmm.
did playing basketball. So a lot of influencers are paid very well. And when the attorney comes in, they want to have we want a contract that has the offer, the acceptance, and the consideration. So many times the brands will approach the influencer and they'll say, hey, try our products and services. Let us know if you like it. If you do, we'll come up with a contract and we'll offer you, they can offer a timeline of payments. So that way they make sure the influencer performs. The influencer may be obligated to do a certain amount of posts or tweets. The different channels or mediums to do the influencing needs to be spelled out in the contract. And then other terms like an assignment provision. You don't want the influencer assigning this to somebody else. What happens if there is a dispute? Can we have a liquidated damages clause that says, well, we had to put this production together for this influencer, they never showed up, so we want to charge them a liquidated damages. That's not a penalty. Also in the contract is just the boring stuff of regulatory law that says hey, if it's an advertisement, we can't have false advertising. We want you to put that and this is an ad. It's hashtag sponsored, hashtag ad. That's the Federal Trade Commission that governs that. So if you're the influencer, you would also want the indemnification provision, which a lot of people don't know what that is, but that says, hey, if I'm sued for false advertising by this brand, I didn't conduct the studies, I want the brand to have to pay for the litigation. Why should I have to pay
Yes.
for it? So many times they will indemnify the influencer, but the influencer may need to indemnify them if the influencer is like, oh yeah, this product worked great with this other product and they didn't even do that. So they could also make the mistake. So there needs to be mutual indemnifications for misrepresentations.
I love how you brought that up. And it leads into a great segue. A lot of influencers who we've come across, they don't recognize that there needs to be a legal contract in place. They get approached by a brand that says, hey, we want to give you a free product, a free trip, or we want to pay you for this. And so especially influencers new to the game, they're just excited that they got approached. They get the attention from somebody who wants to use them as, or use their channel as a way to promote whatever their service or good. So oftentimes they're just so ecstatic and excited about it, they jump into it without realizing, I need these things in place. And that legal agreement is absolutely necessary. Points about, how long should the campaign, how long should the post be live? What's the fee schedule? When am I going to get paid? What else do I have to do with this, right? How many different takes am I required to do of this? The indemnification, that's a really good one right there. Because what if they're promoting a product and the audience, someone who buys it, ends up something happening? Is the influencer liable because that consumer discovered that product through the influencer's posts? So these are absolutely musts, and I think these are all points that's necessary for that agreement to happen.
Yes, and we were also talking earlier about barter situations where the brand will say, hey, I'll give you this product or service in exchange without having to pay for you to do this post. So I had a situation where I learned about a doctor who had actually done a surgical procedure. Maybe they were breast implants on this person, and then she never posted. So what is the doctor to do? Are they just going to go after remove the breast implants? No, they have to go after. It's harder when you do that exchange because you don't have money to go after. It's not like they paid them $10,000. Hopefully some of it's still in the bank. They can seize the assets. No, they can't seize the implant. In this situation, they need to have the amount defined in the contract, and it's kind of similar to the liquidated damages. If you fail to perform, we're going to take this money. And then that also goes to tax implications. If you have tax counsel, if you're doing the barter arrangement, what's the fair market value? And so you want to make sure that you're in compliance with, not just the FTC, but the IRS. And then, when it's the end of the day, maybe you want to build this relationship.
Yep.
We were talking about that, how maybe this isn't just one post. Maybe this is an ongoing schedule that has, it could be a year term. It could be the one that renews after several months if it's not otherwise terminated. So, the person could be responsible for promoting this product, every few times a month. And that could also be put into the contract. So it is important to have it reviewed by not just your mom, but unless your mom's an attorney. But
your Uncle Rick,
right? Yeah, Uncle Rick, exactly. So.
Well, I love how you talked about having a price. Tax, I think, is another reasons why I totally advocate for having a price in place. I know a lot of brands, especially some of these newer brands who are maybe startups, they're direct to consumer, may not be able to afford to pay an influencer, especially when they see these influencer deals that are like $10, $15, $20, $100,000 out there. But I'm a big believer that there should be some sort of transaction amount. One for, again, tax purposes you mentioned, but two is that you're going into this, I am paying X to get Y from this. Also, two, it puts in the influencer's mind, I am getting paid Y to do X, right? And so they're both coming to that meetings of minds and the expectations are set, this is what needs to happen. Hopefully, we'll get some clarity on this with agreement on LawTake, which is basically an open catalog of all agreements out there, and we're hoping there's more agreements out there in the market that can help reduce a lot of these complexities you see out there.
Yes, coming soon to LawTake will be an influencer
Awesome.
agreement. We encourage attorneys to post documents that help consumers, and they can either post free ones or set a price for them. Right now, there's a website sponsorship agreement. It's only $25.
Nice.
It might be able to be modified, maybe not.
Well, I think this is necessary, and I'm looking forward to when you post the one for the influencer side. Influencer marketing is not going away. Some people call it a fad. Some people call it, oh, this is just something that's going to come and go. Let's be real. The creator-driven economy, this is here. We see the world of media going to be driven by creators, and where audiences are, where advertisers are going to go. So this is a mode of marketing. This is a new acquisition channel that's going to be here to stay, and we're going to see a lot of agreements, and it'd be great to see one come from LawTake.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you, Eugene.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank you, guys.